Good morning there, friends. How are you guys doing? I hope you are well. My name is Rabbit, and thank you for joining me for episode number 11 of Let's Play Through Final Fantasy Origins, specifically Final Fantasy on the original PlayStation. In our last episode, we devoted pretty much the entirety of it to looking at some of our stats. I did a little bit of training just to prepare us for the dungeon that awaits us, because as I've kind of mentioned 2, maybe 3 times now to you guys, this next area that we're heading into is known for being just an absolute nightmare if you are not fully prepared. And as I've also shared with you guys quite a few times, our team is not the most defensive, so we may face a bit more trouble than we would otherwise when entering this section of the game. But I think by propelling us so far forward into levels 14 across the board, I think we should be okay. Typically people are about levels 10, maybe 11 max when they head into this next section, so we're ahead of the curve regardless of where most people tend to kind of fall on that. So with all of that being said, let's not delay this any further. Let's head to our next goal, our next objective. Let's see what the map says in terms of its location. Well, if we're looking here on the main continent, we know that the 2 red locations are the towns. We know the little blinking yellow dot is our ship. So we're going to want to head to that little yellow teeny tiny square in the lower left-hand section of this continent. So we've got a little bit of a hike. Let's go ahead and get started because we'll be at it for a while, it looks like. Actually, it won't be too terrible. We're good on levels. If anything, this will allow us to amass a little bit more potential bulk. I'm not sure how close we are to level 15. Oh, I did though, friends. Oh, I'm wary about using any of my magic. Feels bad though, because when you come across waves like this, you just kind of feel tempted to clear all of them so you can keep on keeping on, But we do not want to get ahead of ourselves. We want to preserve our mana. We want to try to maintain good stats and just be in as positive of a position as possible when we are heading into this next area. And you guys that are kind of viewing this blindly, you've never experienced this before, and I'm illuminating the game for you and presenting all of this as novel information to you, you might be thinking like, come on, Rabbit, is this next area really, truly that terrible? Oh, my friends, the answer to that question, you know what? I'm not even going to answer that question. I will hold off and let you kind of see it for yourself. But to briefly address my own question about how close we are to level 15, Melvin's on the cusp. He's kind of the only one that's that close to it, but we've got a little while before I think anyone is going to see level 15, unless we get into fights every 5 steps that we take. Well, this was a first, friends. One of the wolves actually fled at the start of that fight. I'm guessing because our levels are just so significantly and drastically higher than theirs were. I guess he was not picking up what I was putting down. That's for darn sure. I think we gotta go a little bit further northward before we head west. I'm pretty sure if we head directly west of where we are right now on the map, we're going to hit that mountain range. So let me keep on going up this way. I don't know if it's just me. I feel like the map's a little bit of a pain in the butt. I think this is where it's either here or we're gonna go past the little stream / river and then go. Well, actually guys, this might be the way we need to go. Well, we'll figure it out, won't we? Oh no, these guys paralyze ya. I don't know if I'm trying to deal with their crap. Now their levels shouldn't be too bad, and their damage really wasn't too terrible either. I'm gonna still go ahead and throw out Dia 1 ought to take care of them. Oh my gosh, well maybe I'm taking that back. They're starting to stack up some mad DPS here on my team, and I'm not feeling that. But We did see at the end of our last episode, part of the advantage of going to those training grounds that I presented to you all is that it does give you the opportunity to amass a considerable amount of gil so that you can afford not only the equipment that you need, but also the consumables that you're going to want to have on hand for what awaits you. Oh, we'll hold off. I won't worry about healing up anybody until we're right outside of where we need to go. But I think we found our little spot, so we should be able to just mosey on down, then make a sharp right turn to access that little section we're aiming for and that little dungeon or cave area that we did identify on the map. But what I was starting to say is I think the map's a little kooky to navigate. I almost feel like it should be able to be zoomed in one more stretch further or more deeply if you want to look at it that way. I still think it's a little bit hard to read. Not that I think a legend is required. We figured out pretty quickly what constitutes a town or a village and then what constitutes a dungeon or a cave-like area. But sometimes it's still hard to see where it is that you're trying to go. But is this a hole in the ground? What are we looking at? But friends, it really didn't take us that long at all. We are here at the little yellow square. So this is the only other place for us to access on our map and on this continent. I'm going to guess this is where we need to go. So before we do that, I'm wary about using too much of my mana. Let's go ahead and use some potions. This is why I picked up a couple of them. We'll throw a few, my two squishy mages are looking good actually. So I'll throw 2 on Burl, 2 on Rohit, and I think we're as prepared as we're going to be, friends. We can't put this off any longer. Let's go. Let's dive in. Marsh Cave. Oh no, key, says this bat. Oh gosh, not sure what key means, but we'll just keep on ignoring the bats and just making our way where we need to go. And oh gosh, this music. Key, says this other bat. Not a huge fan. So eerie and a little bit, I think, of a heightened pitch to that song compared to what I think it really should be. But 1 bit of damage and 3 misses. We're starting this off as good as we really could. Now, I don't remember what everything here is weak to, so we're going to just start off with some physical attacks and hope for the best here. Now again, we do not need to panic. Our levels are, I'm just going to say it, astronomically higher than most people's will be when they're coming here. So I think this actually, I might have over-prepared and everything that I was worried about, and I was kind of, escalating your own fears and anxieties about Marsh Cave. It might be for naught because we're going to make it through and we might have a few status ailments to deal with. But again, if you come equipped properly and you come with your nice little baggie of treats, then you really don't have to sweat too much here. But we get our XP and our gil, so that is nice. I don't really want to mess around with the poison. Let's just go ahead and use one of our mini antidotes on Melvin. I'm going to hold off on using Asuna. I did not, let me just show you guys before I say this, I did not remove Null Ice after all, so it is important to keep in mind that I only have 3 charges of Asuna to bring with me, and I don't want to get too trigger happy with utilizing this because this is also the charge line that contains Ice 2, which I might want to hold on to. So, a little bit of strategy there for you guys. You may want to go ahead and have 2 people sporting Asuna, because status ailments, particularly poison, they'll eat you alive. Literally, they will. You will drop just to 1 HP if you're on the world map with it kind of draining you. But if you're in combat, key, says this other bat, it'll kill you. So it's not a joke. Don't mess around with poison. It is a force to be reckoned with. But okay, let's come over this way and see what we can find. Oh, but as I was starting to say, I do not love the music here. I think we found a dagger. Unfortunately, I think we purchased one already for Tyrone. We did. So we could have saved a bit of our cash, but look at our gil. We're not really hurting for money. So we'll just go ahead and sell it. Get a little bit of our cash back there. But yeah, I think the music here in Marsh Cave, it's a little bit much. But I'm guessing, I don't know if the crawlers are undead. We know the skeletons for sure are. You know what, let me just go ahead and physically focus down the crawlers. We'll throw out, I don't want to use my Dia 2. Let's throw out Dia 1. Oh, Tyrone! I don't want to use up all of my mana right now. And again, we are so magic heavy, we're going to have to keep this in mind. But again, you guys, I might have, let me not even say might have, I definitely over-prepared us for Marsh Cave, because I'm telling you, usually this section, it ruins people's day. It rocks your worlds with all the status ailments that you're looking at here. The monsters tend to be pretty tough to tango with. But so far, you know, we've used a few potions once we actually got all the way down here from running from Elfheim, and we had to use one antidote. That's really not too bad at all. Poor Melvin is poisoned again, and I'm going to tell you, the poison itself does a considerably greater amount of damage than what these creatures have been dishing out in terms of raw DPS, but whew, the poison adds up. Glad we got all those antidotes, and I'm actually going to use just another potion, I think, across the board. I don't want us dropping too terribly low. But Tyrone, nobody's really messing with him. He's only amassed 2 ticks of damage. Not bad at all. He is sitting pretty. Oh, Bat, you're gonna have to move out of my way so I can hop on in there. Melvin just cannot shake constantly being hit with poison. And now we've got Rohit kind of tagging along there. Again, I'm going to grab my antidotes. I might have actually wanted to double down on the antidote purchases, but I think the 16 that we've got left should hopefully get us through all the way. But if we have to have someone fall to it, then it is what it is, and there's not a whole lot I can do about that. Ooh, 680 gil. That is Trey. Nice. We'll see what else remains in here. But oh my gosh, do you guys like this song? I would say overall, the soundtrack for this game so far has been incredible. I've loved pretty much all of the tracks, and ooh, I do not like the looks of this. We've got zombies and ghouls. We're gonna have to hit these fools. I might want to do Dia 2, but I'm wary. Let's just do Dia 1 and see how effective it is. And then I'm gonna throw, we'll just throw out a fire 1. If we're lucky, that'll still do a decent amount of damage to somebody. And will you guys leave Rohit alone? Now this might be where we really meet our makers, potentially. Because remember, these fellas can paralyze you. But, ooh, they should be paralyzed with fear themselves with Burl here. Do you guys see what I mean, though, with the monk? Once you reach a certain point and you're looking at, well, I'll just go ahead and have everyone physically attack, and you're looking at removing the weapon that he has equipped, oh my gosh, the damage output is not a joke whatsoever. But as I was starting to say regarding the soundtrack for this game, a broadsword, that's old news. We actually sold our old one when we picked up the mithril sword, and another 600 some gil, which is nice, you know, coming out a little bit positively in terms of our cash for gold. So we'll make sure to use it to rest up at the inn back in Elfheim once we're done with everything here. Well, that should conclude everything that's down here in this little basement area. So let's circle on back. I don't think any of these bats are going to have anything new or exciting to offer us, so we'll just ignore most of them. But yeah, outside of Matoya's Cave, is that what it was called? Matoya's Lair, something like that. I didn't love that soundtrack, or that track specifically, and I don't like Marsh Caves that much. Poor Tyrone, I guess it was a matter of time before they were going to start focusing him, but that is okay. Normally at this point, after going through that basement section, hold on, let me go ahead and throw my antidote. I'm gonna follow up with some more potions. I'll skip Burl, we'll give one to Melvin. I'll go ahead and let Tyrone have a little sippy sip of whatever's in the potion bottle. But once I go downstairs and grab kind of those treasures that were there, normally I would head back outside and either use my cottage or tent or whatever and rest up. But we're so strong right now that I guess we can just keep going. We haven't had to use too many items. We haven't even really had to use that much magic. So, guys, I'm gonna just call it now that my scheming was absolutely excessive and over the top. But, you know, I've said it before, I'll say it again. I think it is far better to be over-prepared than under-prepared, by far. Because I think it's much more grueling and, I don't know, I think it's disheartening too to try to make your way through an area and navigate through constant obstacles and just barrier after barrier. It's just such a struggle that it's not fun in that case. But I guess you could argue that there's on that spectrum of something being too easy versus too difficult, you know, I guess either one is not ideal. You probably want like a healthy challenge to keep you engaged. You don't just want to blast through everything in one fell swoop. Or, you know, maybe you do. I actually will say, it blew my mind years and years ago. I had spent the night at a friend's house and her husband was playing Skyrim and he was playing it on the easiest mode that I didn't even realize. Oh, let me go. Well, why don't we go ahead and take, I don't know which door would be ideal to take. I guess it doesn't matter. For some reason, I thought all of these would be blocked off, but it looks like we are good to go. So let's just continue along. But as I was starting to say, this gal's husband was playing Skyrim on the, the easiest setting, and he was just blasting through everything. Oh, there's nothing in here. Okay. Well, I guess I am going the wrong way. Well, we'll figure it out. There are only so many places for us to go, and it's not like we're really chomping at the bit here and struggling too hard. But it blew my mind that he was playing Skyrim on the easiest setting, because I've always played it on the hardest mode. I cannot tell you how many times my husband Andrew and I will start Skyrim over on the most ridiculously challenging setting imaginable and just have the most, I don't even know how to describe it, just cheese builds. We undertake it in a very ridiculous manner, but for the challenge and just for the lulz, you know. I remember one of the most fun runs that I have undertaken of Skyrim was, I was a two-handed, I think I also did, oh my gosh, I was heavy armor, I want to say. I can't remember, but I know I did basically like the two-handed swords, the two-handed hammers, etc., and I was playing on like the legendary setting or the legendary mode for difficulty. Oh my goodness, you guys, it took hours to get through certain dungeons, especially at the start. You have no idea. I could not do anything because I had no range, no AoE, nothing. It was obnoxious at times, I'm not gonna lie to you, to get through certain parts of the game, and oh my goodness, fighting the dragons, get out of here. We're talking like half an hour to an hour just to fight one flippin' dragon, but I always had a blast. I don't know, it was fun anyway for the two of us to play, so I personally don't know how much enjoyment I would derive from undertaking a game like Skyrim on the easiest setting, but to each his own, right? My gosh, one of those crawlers ran too. I don't think I've ever noticed or seen that before, where the creatures will just say that they are not having it and peace out, but that's pretty funny that they will. Let me go ahead and heal up. Anyway, the point of, I guess, my little random tangent is, for me personally, I like a challenge. I prefer something to be too hard than to be too easy, but I also like a little bit of balance where something is so hard that you just can't even progress. I don't know. I don't personally find that fun either, but, you know, I guess we all have our different gameplay styles and our own tastes, so whatever works for you, friends, you know, you keep doing you. But in the meantime, I will continue to do me, and doing me involves going ahead and parting ways here. Weirdest segue and transition ever. Hey, I'm working with what I've got here, you guys. So we'll go ahead and part ways here. We just made it to the 3rd floor and the 3rd level of Marsh Cave. I mean, this place has been a breeze so far, so, I mean, I guess we're just gonna make our way through, get what we came here for, and head back to Elfheim. in our next episode, I'm guessing we will be finished with making our way through Marsh Cave. But until then, we will just see what awaits us, how easy it's going to be to go ahead and retrieve. Either we'll find Matoya's crystal eye, because we're still looking for that, don't forget. We also had spoken with that weird, mysterious elf king in the dilapidated castle who was talking about Astos. We're trying to find something for him. Will both of those items be in here, or will we have just made our way through this dungeon for nothing? Only time will tell. But until our upcoming episode number 12, take care, be good, and I, your host Rabbit, look forward to seeing you in our upcoming episode of Let's Play Through Final Fantasy Origins, specifically Final Fantasy 1 on the PlayStation 1. I'll see you guys there.